Okay, welcome, you guys. So glad you're all here. We are gonna probably keep it a little short tonight. Jess has a sick baby, and it's been kind of a crazy day today. But we're here, we're showing up. Anyways, okay, so I would love to I'm on a call. Can you take him out, please? I don't know, honey. Sorry. Okay, he can sit on my lap. Okay, go. I would love to just start off real quick with some exciting news. We are gonna do a retreat, and we're doing it for just this team, just our team, everybody in Empower and everybody in Be the Change. And you guys, this is something that we have never done. And we are really excited to level up. So I named it Level Up tonight. We don't have all the details yet, but it's probably going to be the end of March. So keep your calendars open for the end of March. Am I saying that right? March? Was it March that we talked about, Jess? Anyways, every time you step out of your comfort zone and do something you've never done, it's a little uncomfortable. And I'm definitely feeling it today. I just got back from a line and got a dog. Never had a dog before. And I'm like, I need to level up as a leader. And it's so interesting because it's like the second you're like, I'm going to level up, what happens every single time? Opposition, you guys, every time. So if you're experiencing opposition in your life because you set a goal, or in your mind, you're like, I'm ready to go forward, you guys are doing it right. Like, please, please, please do not think that because you're experiencing opposition that you are on the wrong path. Mommy, it is what happens to all of us. And I was listening to Emily Gibson talk, and she was saying something that I just really wanted to share with you guys. I don't know if you guys follow her closely or listen to her podcast, or
Mommy, I want to talk Lucy.
I don't have any left. They're all gone. He calls those little chocolate, the little, here, I have a wrapper on the ground. Look. These little guys that they come out with around Christmas, these? He calls it a chocolate movie, like a chocolate TV, like it's a square. So he calls it a chocolate movie. And I'm like, I don't know where he got that from, but I know they're all gone. So you gotta be quiet, okay? Can you be quiet and listen? Okay. So she was saying something today that I listened to, and she was saying that you can go look, but they're all gone. Go look, they're all gone. She was saying that she has done the same thing on her husband's leg. He's been sitting at Emerald for years, you guys. And she's like, I've done the same thing for years on his leg that I did to go diamond. And she went diamond in a year and a half. And she's like, okay, I need you to help with him, honey. I can't talk. I need you to grab him. He wants a chocolate movie. Tell him they're all gone. Here, take him in the other room, please. Go get a treat. Go get a treat. Can you get him chocolate milk or something?
Yeah.
At 8:30 at night? I'm such a good mom. Okay, so so she was saying, she's like, you guys, I have done the same thing. And I have not, we have stayed the same. Oh my goodness. Okay. Does somebody else want to talk for a minute? Somebody take over. I'll be back.
Sorry, guys. My screen was freaking out and I couldn't unmute. I wanted to add something really quick. So with the retreat that's coming up, we're looking at the dates. I just kind of wanted to bring this up for a minute because I have a lot of passion about retreats, and I've seen a lot of growth with all of you going to retreats if you've been to one or you haven't been to one. But hi, Addie. But for me, for this retreat coming up, this is a great time because there's not going to be qualifications to go to this. This is an open retreat for everybody and anybody. This includes anybody on your team. This includes prospects. This includes anyone that you want there with you. And I have to kind of point a finger at Autumn. Autumn, hope you don't care that I'm calling you out on this. You guys, I didn't know Autumn really much at all. I think maybe Autumn, we had a few conversations through a group text and I got to know you a little bit, but it wasn't until the retreat that I really got to know you. And I was scared of you in a good way. I was really nervous. And Carly, I think you can agree with me. I was like, I don't think she likes this. I think she thinks we're crazy. Like, she is a bad A businesswoman. She owns her own boutique. She knows what she wants in life. She's driven. Her and her husband are entrepreneurs. Like, we're just like these little tiny girls, like at this Plexus retreat. And I was really nervous about her. And you guys look at her. Autumn, can I just say that like you have blessed my life in so many ways, and not have you developed as a person, but as a leader and as a friend. And I've seen that in you. And I truly believe this is where leaders are born. Not saying that Autumn was not a leader before that, but I've seen Autumn come out of her shell that she probably hasn't even seen in herself. And it's kind of like when we look at our kids, right? We see the best, what they're capable of. We help them develop their qualities and their personalities and doing things scared. Like, you're like the biggest cheerleader. And I will always be Autumn's biggest cheerleader, even though I didn't birth her. I will always, that's kind of a scary thought, but I will always love Autumn. Like I love my kids, and I'm so proud of her. And I'm so proud of all of you. And so I want you to know, as you're coming up to this retreat, I want you all to do your best to be there. I know we're all busy moms and wives, and we work and we're busy. Life is busy. But I promise the 72 hours or less that you're with me and with the people that are on this call and the people that may not even know about this business yet, right? It's going to bless and change their lives. It absolutely will, because it changed mine. I told Nicole no for 6 months, and she probably asked me one, maybe twice a month. And I got to a point where I even got annoyed with her. She had reached out to my mom to order as a white line, and I legit called her and I said, don't bug my mom without talking to me first. I remember telling her that. I was like, don't bug my mom. She's fine. You guys, my mom's now 3 years into the products. Like, she did it out of love. She did it, and I didn't see the bigger picture. And now I see the bigger picture. And then I finally said yes to her, and I went to Bear Lake, I think like a month later. And that's where my leadership was developed. I believe that I have come out of my shell. I remember being so awkward there and my arms folded, and I didn't want to talk to anybody. And now I do Zoom calls with no bra on. Like, we develop scarcity, and we face it with bravery, even though it's really uncomfortable. And I've done things I never thought I would do. You know, I spoke at a gut health conference 3 years ago, and I had sweat tacos the whole time. And now it's like, okay, ask me to speak. It's fine. Whatever. You know, like I have developed myself as a person, as a mom, as a wife, as a friend. I feel like I show up in ways I never was able to before, not even with my health. Like, yes, I'm showing up because I feel better, but I'm also showing up because I'm trying to help those that were in my shoes 3 years ago. So I really want you to think of one person on your team, and it can be more. Who do you want to see at these retreats? And the best part is all of you guys are going to have a play in this. And that's what I'm so excited about, is to allow all of you to level up, to show up, and to be a leader in that person's eyes. I want you guys all to feel it, because it feels really validating that you are absolutely capable of creating beautiful retreats and beautiful connection and community for everybody. And I get kind of emotional about this. Nicole saw a different side of me today. Last night, I know that some of you guys could not be there and we missed your beautiful faces, but I sat back, and as I'm eating sushi, I'm like, oh my gosh, we as a team and as friendship and as women created what is here tonight. Not one person did it alone. We did it as upline, as downline, as sideline. I don't care what role you are on this team. We did this together. And just think about that 2-hour sushi night into a 72-hour weekend. Like, how beautiful is that we are creating friendship and safety for someone that is praying for that right now. So that's the dates we're looking at. If you have other commitments, it is now your responsibility to change that commitment and be there, because I want to spend time with you. I want to pour into you. I want to spoil you, and I want to just connect with you. And so I'm really excited about this. And the dates are March 25th, 26th, and 27th. So anyways, more details to come, but I wanted to add that as Nicole was dealing with a child. But I'm really excited. It's actually been on my heart a lot that we as women just need connection. And I know there is a gold in your back office that has been praying for you to invite her somewhere. She wants to be that Autumn that was doing puzzles, scaring everybody because I don't know if you remember that, Autumn, but I remember being like, oh my gosh, she hates this. And turns out she loved it. Even though the first day she was there, she's admitted that she didn't want to be there. Like, I promise you, leaders are born there. So Nicole, I don't know if you wanted to add on what you were saying before you got cut off.
Yeah, sorry, Mike. I'm like, I gotta deal with this for a second. But yeah, I mean, I agree with Jess. I want you guys to know that like there's a lot that goes into the planning of these, and it's a lot of emotions for us to step up and do this. And I want you to know that we do it because it is where leaders are born. People want connection. They want it. They crave it. Like, I just got back from Arizona and I have had 3 people that have never ordered from me tell me, I wish I was there with you. I want to go next year. I don't care what it is, as long as there's good food and good company and like it's helping me level up in life, I want to be there. And I'm like, how can I do a better job of creating that for people here now? I don't want to wait a year. I don't want to wait a year to invite them to something, right? And so I want you guys to step out of your comfort zone and invite somebody that scares you, invite somebody that you think needs this, invite somebody that has told you no, because it is where leaders are born. And we are going to make it so it's not like weird and awkward, I hope, right? Like, I mean, we're going to talk about the business, but we're going to have like connection and fun things that we're doing. And we want to invite those of you, I don't know if Jess already said this, but that are senior gold and above to help us plan this event. So if you want to help us plan it and you're senior gold or above, we would love your help planning it and having a say in it and helping lead it. And so just, we will make, like, reach out to me and let me know, like, I want to help plan it. And if you don't, that's okay too, because it's a lot and we get it, but we want you to know that. So I want to ask you a question before I finish my story. And then before Teresa goes, this is a question I have heard several times by Tiffany Peterson. And I heard it again this week. And every time I hear it, I'm like, oh, that is so good. She calls it her $1 million question. She says, am I willing to be uncomfortable to get the result that I want? And I want you guys to write that down on a sticky note on your wall or on a binder or on your paper in front of you. Am I willing to be uncomfortable to get the result that I want? Because when you're going for a goal, there will always be opposition. There will always be discomfort. Are you willing to be uncomfortable? And then I want to finish my story real quick. And then I believe we're passing the time over to Teresa to share some good tidbits with us. But so Emily Gibson just said, like, I built, a diamond team in a year and a half. And then like getting Sean to diamond has been a 6-year process that has taken so long, right? Like, she's like, I've been doing the same thing and literally I've been holding the line, right? Do you know what that means, to hold the line? It's when you hit a rank or you hit a number and it's like, you literally are just holding it month after month after month. And it's like, you're like, am I ever going to go anywhere? Like, I'm literally swimming and I'm staying in the same place, right? How many of you have felt that way? And she's like, but she had this eye-opening like realization recently because her team suddenly exploded with new leaders. And she said that one of her top builders right now said, I never would have done the business if I had to ask people for the social security number. And that just changed in like October or September, right? Like right around there. It's kind of fuzzy when it happened. But, and I just thought, oh my gosh, like, that's so interesting that like literally the time was now. Like, she wasn't ready. And then she said that there are just systems that have come into play and things that she had to learn to be the leader that she needed to be for those people that were ready to run fast. And she's like, I wasn't ready for them and they weren't ready for me. And it was not the right timing. And now it is the right timing because she did show up consistently and she did hold the line and she did develop herself. And I wanted to share that with you because there's so many times where I have held the line and Jess has held the line and many of you have held the line where we have been like, why is there no momentum? What is going on? And I just want to say that in every single business, not just Plexus, in every single business, there are ebbs and flows of momentum. Okay. There are ups and downs and there are ebbs and flows. And if you have had momentum once, you can have momentum again. And just because you are holding the line does not mean that you are doing something wrong. It might mean you need to develop yourself a little bit better. It might mean that you need to change something just a little bit, but it doesn't mean that you've like messed up and that it's never going to happen again. You guys, you are creating a groundwork. You are laying a foundation for people that will come into your business and fly, but they need you to be the leader that they need you to be. And you might not be that leader yet. You might have lessons that you need to learn along the way, and that is okay. And so there is nothing wrong with holding the line. There is nothing wrong with learning from ebbs and flows in your business. Okay, so I do have one other thing I want to share, but I really want Teresa to go next, and then we can go from there.
Okay, thanks, Nicole. So today, Carly and I took our kids to the trampoline park, and I was talking to her about just how I'm really enjoying this coaching from Emily that I signed up for. I decided to sign up for coaching because I'd been wanting to. I wanted to sign up with Tiffany Peterson, and then I, changed my mind and I backed out, and I kept doing that. And finally I was like, I need to invest in myself if this is something that I really want. And I know it's something that I want. So I signed up the very last day of the year in December, and it's been awesome. Like, it's been really eye-opening, and I really appreciate, I think Emily's personality just suits me well because she's to the point, and I like that. There's like no sugarcoating with her. She doesn't try to make you like her. She's just very straightforward. And that's how I learned the best. And so I had signed up for a one-on-one coaching call with her, and I was so nervous. I don't know why, but Emily Gibson, to me, I don't know why. It's like she's a celebrity or something. And so I kind of was like, oh, I have to go into this call. And like, that means I have to talk to her, and I don't even really know what I'm going to say. And so going into the call, I told her that. I said, you intimidate me. Kind of like Autumn with Jess, which I don't understand that. But I was like, you are intimidating to me. And I don't know why I feel like I had to tell you that. And she was like, it's okay. It's okay. Like, you don't need to like me. And I'm like, oh no, I like you. You're just intimidating. And so once we got that out of the way, and she asked me like what she could help me with, I said, I feel like I'm stuck because being new to an area, I still don't have a lot of friends here. My only friends are already on Plexus, right? They're like this community of women. And so she's like, okay, tell me more about that. And I just said, I just feel like I don't have friends. And so who would I invite to a sip and see? Or like, how would I even go about hosting an event like this when I know nobody would come, because the only people that would be there would be like Carly and Jessica and Nicole, like, who would I invite? And she's like, well, where else do you go during the week, during the day? And I was like, oh, well, I go to the library with my kids. We have gymnastics for my youngest daughter. We have, like, I was telling her about all the things that I do in the grocery store. And she's like, so you're around people? And I'm like, yeah, I'm around people all the time. And she's like, okay, well, then you just need to open up. And I was like, oh, okay. And so she's like, so where would you invite people even though you don't have friends? So I said, well, I feel comfortable with people that I go to church with, because I see them every Sunday and then during the week, and I feel like they're nice enough that they support me. And she's like, okay, let's start with that. She's like, I challenge you to do an event in February. And she's like, who cares if you don't have friends? She's like, just start inviting people. And so of course I was like, oh my gosh. And I think she could tell that I was super nervous and hesitant because I was like, this is going to be so awkward. Like I've known these women for a couple of months and here I am like, oh, this is something that I want to do and I hope you come. And so she's like, I want you to address that with them. I want you to address your fears with them in your invitation for them to come to your event. So she's like, how would you say that? And I just, I had a long pause and it was silent for a while and Emily just kind of let me think. And then I finally said, I think I would address it by just saying like, hey, I don't really want to be known as like the plexus person, but I'm having this event at my house and I would love for you to come. There's absolutely no commitment, but I would really love your support. And I'm not going to push anything on you, but we both know people that are suffering with health issues. So even if it's not you coming for you, like, would you bring somebody to help them get better health? And she's like, write that down. That was perfect. So I wrote it down and I have it. And then today, when I told Carly that I wanted to have my first like in-person event, I came home and I made my first graphic for it. And I've only showed it to Carly and I'm freaking out. I haven't even sent it to anyone. I haven't even invited anyone. And I'm already like, it's like in a couple weeks, like, what am I going to do? And so I just went back to that training with Emily where she's like, you shouldn't be the one that is scared because they're the ones that are scared because they're sick. They're the ones that are scared because they're not having answers to all these health problems. So she's like, you are giving these people hope and they're going to come. But then she also gave me other tips. So she said, invite everyone you know, not just the people that you're comfortable with. She's like, invite everyone. She goes, if you invite everyone you know, everyone at the grocery store, everyone at the library, everyone at church, she's like, 50% of those people will respond to you and they'll tell you yes or no. And then you'll have like a concrete number of who's coming. But she's like, guaranteed that hour before the event, 50% of those people will cancel. She's like, they'll cancel. Oh, so-and-so sick. Oh, something came up, or, oh, I forgot, or this or that. Like, we're all human, right? But she's like, if you invite 10 people, she's like, more than likely, you're going to have this many people come. And she's like, you need to invite everyone. And of those hundreds of people, you'll maybe get like 5 people. She's like, and that's okay. She's like, I've had events where I've had 0 people show up and I learned from it. She's like, there's no shame in that. And that's going to happen to you. And that's going to happen to everyone. And then she's like, and then maybe the next week you'll have another event and you'll have a full house. And so she's like, you have to keep hosting these events. She said that that's what helped her really go to Diamond, because she was connecting with people face to face and not just, like through text or messages, but in person. So that's kind of like what I wanted to share with you guys tonight. So we'll pass back the time to Nicole. Thank you.
I think it's similar with the business too. So like, this is inviting to an event to learn about the products, but when you're inviting people to do the business or to share, it's similar. And I want you guys to know that like, it's really normal to get a lot of no's. It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong, right? So like, you might invite like 10 people to share and maybe one will say yes. And then sometimes that one doesn't go anywhere. And then you invite 10 more people to share and maybe one says yes. And then they like go silver. And then you invite 10 more to share and then maybe they go silver. And then like, I've been doing this for a year, you guys. And I'm like, I'm only creating like silvers to senior silvers, And then one day I know that one person will stick with it. So this is normal. And I think we beat ourselves up because we're like, well, no one's like doing anything. Like, why isn't it easy? And I've had this,
Mommy,
I've been on a sailor kick, and Jess, I just wanted to tell you, I finally figured out my word of the year. And I know I figured it out because it kind of makes me cry when I think about it, but my word's sailor. And I know that's a really weird word. It's like super weird word. But I've been hearing all these like sailor quotes, and I shared one on the team call the other day. I don't know if you guys were on it, but this is a little bit different one. Said it's a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. Oh my gosh, I can't even talk. A skilled sailor. And I was like, gosh, why have I just been waiting for it to be easy? You know, like it's like the thought that it's supposed to be easy is what's causing you pain in this business. It's like, why isn't it easier? What am I doing wrong? Like it's all these thoughts that are making it harder for you. And so this year my word is sailor, because I want it to remind me that it wasn't meant to be easy, and that if I want to become skilled, I have to be okay with rough water, because that's the only way to learn how to navigate the ship, right? And so I thought I'd share that with you, because when Jess asked us for a word, I was like, I don't have a word. Like I was like, I can't think of anything. Like nothing came to me. What?
Is that Tiffany?
Is that Tiffany?
Yeah.
No, it's Teresa.
It's
Okay, so I want to share one more thing, and I know he's being loud, so I'll share something, and then I'm gonna let Jessica finish out the call. And I don't know if anyone else had wanted to share, and you're more than welcome to, but I need you to be quiet for just a couple minutes, okay? Okay, so when I was at Align,
Mama,
Brooke Hemingway gave us these napkins, and she said, I want you to fold it in half, and then I want you to fold it in half again. And she said, you can see I started writing on it, I haven't finished, but she said, all of the systems in your business should fit on this size of a piece of napkin. Okay, so it's pretty small. I would say it's probably like 2.5 by 2.5, maybe, or 3 by 3. But she said every system that you use in your business should be able to be written down on this and fit on this. And okay, just a minute, I'm almost done. Okay, patience. I know, just a minute. So she said, if you cannot fit your systems on that, you are overcomplicating things. And she said, your systems should be simple so that they can be duplicatable, and so that they can be done frequently, so that people know that they can trust them, so that they're constant. So like, I want to challenge you guys to write down what systems you use. They might be a little different than me, but we have so many, right? Like we have the 3 days of Plexus. We have like Zoom calls, like welcome to Plexus, or what is Plexus? We have like the 15-minute messenger groups. Like we have a lot of different systems, but I want to challenge you to find what works for you. And it might be a couple. It might be like, I do an event once a month, and then I do like a 15-minute messenger once a week, but it's consistent and it's simple and it's duplicatable. Okay. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. We already have great systems, but what system are you using? Because the best system there is the one that you will use. Okay. And write that down. The best system there is the one that you will use. And so you guys, please find a way this year to simplify, and then make it so consistent that people know that they can trust you, and that they know that they can show up to something, and that it'll always be happening. This is a great way to lead your team too, because they're like, I trust Teresa because she's always doing this, and I know it's consistent and it works. I'm not always the best at this, you guys. I'm still learning. I'm still growing. We all are. I think one thing we do well is we do these calls, and it's consistent, right? But there are other things that we could do to make our team feel more consistent, so that it's not like, well, what do I do this week? Do I do this? Do I do that? Like, I really want to narrow it down so that we're making it really consistent for everyone. And so I would love for you guys to write down what works for you. And as a leader, step up and guide your team in that direction. Don't wait for me and Jess to do it. You do it for your team. You create that consistency and start stepping up and leveling up. That is really something I want to focus on this year, is level up to be the leader that you were meant to be. Don't wait for somebody above you to do it, because that's not duplicatable. Right? So anyways, that's all from me. I'm not sure if Carly wanted to share. You're more than welcome to, but Jess, go ahead and you can finish up with your thoughts. So.
Okay. So I want to ask you guys a question. What is the secret, the number one secret to success? Not just in a business, but with your household duties, with being a mom, with being a wife, with work. What do you guys think the number one secret to success is? I want you to put it in the chat. Like one, it's actually 2 words, but what do you think it is? Because I want to hear some of the ideas that are going through your brain. I was actually really shocked when I read this. Consistency, commitment, I love it. Follow up, oh, I'm loving all of this because they all actually kind of go in with this. Patience and commitment. And that patience is something I was never born with. Literally, I'm like the most impatient person. Okay, I love all these that you guys are putting in the chat. I was really shocked. It is self-trust. Who would have ever thought that? Because I wouldn't have thought that. I was like, self-trust, really? So let me tell you why. When you don't trust in yourself, with whatever that means, like I know Whitney, I think Whitney might be the only one, hasn't had her baby, right? Or kids. But do you guys, or even, oh my heck, this is a perfect example. Nicole has a dog. She's holding a dog right now. This is her first time ever as a dog owner with kids. Okay. She has 4 kids at home. She knew it was going to be hard, or think about the baby or the dog, or even a spouse for that matter. We've never done that before. We've never had a spouse before. We've never had a baby before. And do you remember almost being like, do I trust myself to be married? Am I old enough to be married? Do I trust myself with a kid? Do I trust myself to have this job and to be up here teaching other coworkers about what I do? Like I do that all the time as a nurse. Like, am I really trustworthy or smart enough per se to do this? Do I trust myself to have a dog and to keep it alive? Like I've often gotten a goldfish for my kids, those little tiny fish from Walmart for like 5 cents, and they typically die within 3 days. Let's be honest. And I'm like, okay, I'm just not a fish owner. Let's just be honest. I'm keeping 4 kids alive and that's great. But you have to have self-trust, because if you don't, you're not going to move forward. And the problem is the opposite of trust is actually not trust. It's fear. And the more that you face fear, the more you're going to build fear, and you'll always have actions of fear. But if you trust yourself, you're only going to build off trust. And then you're going to keep building trust and building trust, even if it's uncomfortable. So if you're in your business right now and you're like, you know what, I cannot trust myself enough to help this person or to get this person started, or I have a plethora of text messages going on with several people that are interested and I cannot figure out how to help them or to help them get started, or I get nervous and I don't know what to say. You guys, I do it every day. I still am like, oh my gosh, this person just reached out to me. I never thought in a million years that they would ever want Plexus. Like even doctors, and I'm like sweating my balls off and I'm so scared. And I'm like, I don't trust myself. And I'm like, Nicole, help me with this text message. Or I'm turned to my husband and I'm like, help me articulate this. Like even my cleaning lady that comes, I made my husband go talk to her, and he doesn't really know Spanish and I don't know no Spanish. And I'm like texting Whitney, who's on this call, like, I need help because I don't know Spanish, but I need to trust myself. Like, even though I don't know Spanish, do you know how many resources there are to learn Spanish or to translate Spanish? You guys, there's an app already on my phone that I had no clue about, that's already downloaded on my phone that does the translation for me. That builds trust right there. Like, I want you to know there are resources to self-trust, but to do it, you have to try it. You'll never learn trust with yourself unless you try it. So if you don't believe that you're a good enough leader, you need to work on your self-trust, because I know without a doubt that the person that's talking to you wasn't because of me, and wasn't because of Nicole, and wasn't because of Carly, wasn't because of Teresa. Like I can keep going on and on. It's because they built that trust with you. So you already know that there's a foundation of trust. And the 2 things that you have to have with any kind of relationship, a marriage, a child mom relationship, a friend, a cousin, a friendship, a neighbor, the 2 things are trust and respect. Can you guys all agree with me? You have to have both. So when you're building that friendship with that person, they're following you on social media, they're seeing what you're doing, they're seeing what you're posting, no matter what that is, what you're posting about. For me, my brand would be probably gluten-free eating. If you looked at me and you know me well enough, you know that I eat gluten-free, that I'm a nurse, that I'm kind of a hot mess when it comes to parenting, and that I'm a gut health guru. They're not going to go straight to the gut health guru because they don't want to admit that they have something wrong with them. I hate that I have to admit that I have celiac disease. I'll be honest. It's hard. Some of you guys can agree with me. You guys eat gluten-free. It's a lot of prep work. So they're not going to go straight to, I have something wrong with me. They're going to build a relationship that is a connection in a different way. And then they build that respect for you. You're being open, you're being vulnerable, you're sharing about things you're cooking or things that you're doing with your kids or things that work for you as a parent. You guys, we are all children. Like, I'm not getting churchy. I'm just saying I've never had a 10-year-old girl before. And by golly, she's the most dramatic person I've ever met. Can anyone raise their hand that they have a child that you're like, what did I get myself into? Like, she's been easy until this last year. And I'm like, she's already showing her teenage self. And I'm a little scared, like a lot scared. But then I see Carly have a hard time with her 10-year-old daughter. And I see Nicole crying in tears because her 10-year-old called her mean. Like, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I can build respect for her because she's going through what I'm going through. So I actually trust her. So when you can form trust and respect with someone, that's when they're going to be okay to talk to you about what's going on, no matter if it's physical, mental, or emotional health. Sometimes it's even spiritual or sexual, or like, I'm just being honest. Like, people are just not going to open up to you willy-nilly without that trust. And I want to share an experience with you. So Melissa, I did not know her 3 years ago. I didn't even know she existed, even though she was friends with my husband on Facebook. I didn't know who my husband was friends with or who he knew back in the day. And I just didn't know about Melissa. And it was because I was sharing gluten-free recipes. So what did Melissa on her end? She was like, oh, Josh's wife is gluten-free. That's cool. And then she was like, oh, I want that recipe. So then she reached out to Josh, who, again, she's built no respect for me, probably at this time, or trust, right? She just knows that I'm gluten-free. And then Josh was like, hey, I didn't know you were gluten-free. And then we found out Melissa's daughter was celiac at this time. And he's like, you should talk to my wife. My wife and my daughter both have celiac. So what is Josh doing in that tiny bit of conversation? He's building trust. He's like, hey, I trust my wife well enough that you can talk to her about this gluten-free recipe. So then we get talking, Melissa and I, and then she shows up at my house a week later and we're all sobbing in the family room about our health, because little did I know Melissa was actually really struggling with Lyme disease, who actually connected with Nicole. So not only have I built respect and trust, but I've built community as well. So it kind of like, as you guys are saying, like commitment, follow-up, consistency, community, like all of these answers that are coming through, it all stems from the root of trust and respect. But to have both of those, you have to have self-trust. You have to believe in yourself, because guess what? Even as a bachelor degree in nursing, I don't know everything. I get asked sometimes from doctors and I'm like, I have no clue what you're talking about. And I have to go find the answer. And the cool thing about Plexus is they're simple tools. I knew nothing about supplements when Nicole got me going. Nothing. I was like, yeah, just give it to me. I don't care what's in it. I didn't ask. Like, we studied the products to make sure that they were safe, but I didn't know anything about digestive enzymes other than we give them to pancreatitis patients. I knew nothing about chromium. We give them to for patients that have infertility. Like, I didn't know beyond that. I only know the nurse side of it, not the gut healing of it. So you don't have to know everything. And if you don't know something and someone texts you, read it and be like, all right, I don't know this question, and pop into one of the systems or look it up. A lot of the times you can look it up and research it for yourself and trust yourself. And the more you do it and not rely on only your upline or only your downline or your husband, you're finding the answers out for yourself. Because I feel like when you find it out yourself, you remember it here more. And then you build trust with yourself. You're like, oh, I remember that because I looked it up and I studied it and I took notes and all of the things. Gosh, I wanted to share a story and now I cannot remember. Oh, okay. I work with an amazing neurologist. His name is Dr. Call. I don't know if any of you guys know him, but he works at Utah Valley Hospital. Love him to death. I have a lot of trust and a lot of respect for him. And I was a brand new nursing student 10 years ago. I thought I was the shiz dig, right, of everything. I thought I was so smart. I knew I had perfect scores on my NCLEX. Like, I thought I was so smart. And I'm in this room with a patient and Dr. Call's in there doing an assessment on this patient. And he turns to me and he goes, hey, Jessica, can you go find me a port key? And there are such thing as keys. Callie's on this call, but there are such thing as keys in nursing. There's a CAD pump key that opens up a pain pump. There's keys that we use that we have to have that only medical providers can have on us to protect our patients. So I'm thinking, what the heck is a port key? So I go running down to the lady or the guy that's training me. I'm like, Bob, where can I find a port key? And he's like, a port key? I've never heard of a port key. And he's been a nurse for 40 years. And he's like, let's go ask the charge nurse. So we go running to the charge nurse because we're trying to hurry to get Dr. Call. His time is very, very precious. This port key. I'm like, hey, what's a port key? And all of us on the floor are trying to find this dang port key. None of us know what it is. Bob's feeling stupid. I'm feeling stupid. And Bob's like, we got to go ask Dr. Call what the port key is. We're Googling it. Can't find anything. So we let our pride down and we go in and we were like, we have no clue what a port key is. Can you help us so that we can get you the port key? And as we say this, him and the patient just start busting out laughing. And we're like, okay, we're idiots. Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, I just can't believe that you've never seen Harry Potter. And I'm like, wait, what? Because I married, if you guys know Josh at all, we are Harry Potter freaks here. But under pressure, I'm like, what the heck is a port key? Do you guys know what a port key is? In Harry Potter, it helps him like travel in time. Am I saying that right?
What?
A port key?
No, not travel in time.
No, not in time.
Just travel from one spot
Yes.
to another.
Okay, traveling one spot to another. But at the time, he thought it was hilarious because it sounded all medical like. But I was under a lot of pressure going, what the heck is a port key? And we just had a good laugh. And that from that point in time, it taught me a lesson. We don't have to know everything, even though it had nothing to do with my nursing degree. He had a good laugh and I gained a lot of respect from that. And we still laugh about it. Like every time I see or talk to him, he's like, how's the port key? Have you ever found one? And we just laugh. So I want you to know, if you ever feel under pressure, even if it's a face-to-face conversation, it's okay not to know the answer. In fact, I was at Carly's gut health night not too long ago, and there is a woman there that came who I highly respect. Josh has known her for years. She asked me a question that I was like, I should probably know this. She asked me, why is your collagen better than liquid collagen? And I'm like, oh. And so I told her my opinion. And then I was like, Nicole, do you have any insight on that? And then she gave her opinion, and her opinion was fantastic. But then it was something I looked up that night because I wanted to know for myself. But it's okay not to know the answer every single time. Because if you don't know it, you're going to find out. And you tell them that. Put your pride down and say, I don't know that answer, but I am going to find out for you, because it's going to build not only that trust with you, it's going to build respect, being like, you know what? You don't have to be perfect to share these products. You don't have to have a medical background. You don't have to have a medical degree to share Plexus. I promise you that. And I love that you said it's more relatable. And Whitney said that the port key was gonna sounded familiar. So whenever in doubt, just think of my port key and how stupid I probably looked as a brand new grad. But I want you to know that you don't have to be perfect. Be relatable. Make it look simple, because you guys, it is absolutely so simple. And all of you guys on this call are capable of having success by starting with self-trust, building respect and trust with others, and then formulating and cultivating a community of love, friendship, health, wellness, and healing in your home. And I want that for all of you. I genuinely want that for all of you. I can literally look at this call and yes, say an hour ago that I thought Autumn was scary, but now I look at Autumn and I'm like, she was my soul sister that I haven't ever had. And I can look at Teresa and be like, she's my Polly Pocket. And I can look at Melissa and have a relation with Melissa. And I can look at Carly and be like, she'll always be the lady that I met at a school playground, going to lunch and knowing that she was too scared to eat gluten-free because she didn't want anyone to know. And I felt the same way at one point. I just will always have these certain connections with people, and I have a genuine love for all of you. And I'm so grateful to be doing this with you. But if there's one thing I can challenge all of you, is if you don't trust yourself, start today. Even if you don't, fake it till you make it, because the more you practice trust, you will trust yourself more.
Can I
And
add to
there's-
that real quick? Oh, go
Yeah.
ahead. Sorry. And what?
No, you're fine.
I was just gonna say, I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and she was like, I don't know how to go to the next rank, right? Like, she's like, I don't know how to go. I think she was senior gold. She's like, I don't know how to get to the next rank. And I was like, that's interesting. Like, cause that stems from what Jess is saying, like not trusting yourself, right? Because our brain likes to tell us like, I've never done it before, so I don't know how. Okay. And what I want to plug into your ear, to your mind, and I want it to plant a permanent spot there, is that if you have gone gold then you know how to help somebody go gold. And what happens if you help somebody to go gold? Then you go to senior gold. Autumn, you know how to help someone go gold because you've done it. Okay. So therefore you know how to get to the next rank because you need to do is help someone do what you've done. Okay. And if you're at senior gold, you know how to go senior gold. And all you have to do to get to the next rank is help somebody go senior gold or help 2 people go gold. So you know how to do it because you've done it. Okay. Does that make sense? I know how to go sapphire. I keep telling myself I don't. I know how because I've gone emerald and all I have to do is help someone go emerald. Does that make sense? So you guys, this is a key to trick your brain into trusting yourself. You're like, no, I do trust myself because I've done it. I've done it once before. So like if you're sitting at senior silver, Whitney, and I think Callie's at senior silver, just a minute. I'm talking, just a minute. I know, just a minute. I'm talking. I'm like, don't interrupt me. So yeah, like if you're sitting at senior silver and you're like, I don't know how to go gold. I promise you, you do, because you've gone senior silver and therefore you know how to help someone go senior silver. And so it's really, if you break it down in your mind, it's really simple. And it leads back to what Jess is saying. It leads back to trusting yourself, trusting your abilities and learning that you know how to do what you're doing. And it's so much simpler than we make it. So I just wanted to add that, Jess.
That was perfect. Thank you, Nicole. So I don't mean to keep much more of your time, so I'm going to wrap it up. But along with trusting yourself and starting today, I want to challenge all of you guys one thing. And I know I like to do challenges. I'm all about challenges. But I'm a very competitive person. Let's just be honest. I will say my husband was like pacing the background. He's about to go play basketball. And I was like, how did I do, babe? And he's like, I feel inspired. Like, who are you? Anyways, I want to challenge you guys. And I know some of you have, but I want to challenge all of you to host one event in February. Even if that's an in-person event, what is Plex's event? And host it. Even if your upline is coming, I want you to host it and to take charge of explaining the products, sharing your health story and your business story, and trusting yourself by doing so. Because I promise you, events move the needle and gathering people move the needle. So that's what I wanted to end. And Teresa, to answer your question, it's Portkey, but although Portkey sounds funny. Port with the T, key. Anyways, okay, I love you all. I can't wait till next week. We have some fun trainings in store and fun team calls. I really want people to have the success in their back pocket. And that's what we're doing this year, is shifting that so that you guys have easy access, easy buttons, all on your tool belt. So be excited, invite your team. Let's get as many people on these calls as we can. Okay. I love you all. Have a good night.